Welcome, friends. So, this is just a short 15-minute guided meditation, basically um, about bringing attention to the present moment, what one is experiencing in this moment now. When the mind can often get caught up in thoughts about the past, in anxiety about the future, but then we tend to forget what we may be experiencing now, because any memory that might arise, any emotion of distress that might arise, only arises in the present moment. And if we are able to learn to meet that which arises more skillfully, then we can change the relationship we have to those negative experiences. But the nature of the habitual mind is such that one can easily get caught up in the most intense experience, the most intense feeling one is experiencing at any particular time. So with meditation, it's about training the attention, choosing where one directs one's attention, and then through that one can have more of a perspective in terms of how we relate to whatever we might be experiencing. So it's more a work on an internal level, and of course that doesn't mean that one does not act on an external level in terms of the situations we may find ourselves in. So, but if we are able to work with our internal reactions to those external circumstances, then we would have more of a perspective on what the most appropriate action to do externally might be. So, with meditation, generally the recommendation is to try and find a comfortable posture that is fairly stable, either sitting on the floor or sitting on a chair, that doesn't really matter. What is important is that the posture is fairly stable and balanced, so that it can one can sustain that posture throughout the duration of the meditation. So a few suggestions regarding the posture. First of all, to try and see if one can have a stable base. So, for example, if one is sitting on the floor, to see if the knees can touch the floor, and then if one needs extra cushions, one can use pillows or cushions to raise oneself. So, it's like a tripod that is supporting the base of the body. And then one can imagine a sort of string attached to the top of the head and just pulling gently up, so the spine is able to straighten, and not so that it's rigid, but sort of each segment supporting the neck, so it's in a natural curved shape. And so it's more the skeleton that supports the weight of the body. So it's not the muscles that need to work in order to keep the body in position, and then the muscles, the shoulders, the neck, etc., can relax, and then the chin slightly tucked in so that the head is balanced on top of the spine. So again, letting the muscles in the neck relax. If one likes, one can close one's eyes or keep them slightly open, a sort of unfocused gaze just in front of oneself, whatever one feels comfortable with. The hands can just rest one on top of the other, whatever feels comfortable. So that's the basic posture. Listening to the sound of the bell to start the meditation. Listening to the silence that is left after the sound of the bell ends, noticing the little sounds that might be there in the environment, and noticing the silence that is behind those sounds. The attention can be caught up by the little sounds, and we can feel that they are disturbing us. But if we start to notice the silence that is behind the sounds and rest the attention on that, that can allow the mind to become more peaceful. Anything we hear only arises in the present moment. If we give our attention wholeheartedly to the listening, that can act as a gateway for the mind to come into the present moment and start to notice what is it like right now, listening to the silence, gradually turning the attention inwards, listening to the body. What is the body doing right now? Is it completely still? Are there any movements? Are there any sounds one makes as one breathes in and breathes out? Listening to the body, listening to the silence within which those sounds occur. Listening to the body as it breathes in, listening to the body as it breathes out. What is it that changes? How do we know if we are breathing in? How do we know if we are breathing out? Further turning the attention inwards, starting to notice, starting to examine what is it like for the body to breathe, breathing in and breathing out. letting the attention gently rest on the breathing, starting to take more of an interest in what the breath is doing, even though initially it may seem as if each breath is the same. If we start to look closer, we can recognize that each breath is unique, always slightly different than the one previously. Are we breathing in long, or breathing in short? Are we breathing out long, or breathing out short? Is the breath relaxed? Is there any tension in the body? Just noticing what is each breath like. We have been breathing since we were born. If we stopped breathing, this body couldn't survive for very long. And yet, so often we can just take the breath for granted and not notice it. With meditation, one can consciously bring attention to the breath, start to learn, start to notice what is it doing, how is it manifesting right now, breathing in and breathing out, gently allowing the attention to rest on the breathing. One does not need to control the breath, but just give permission to the body to breathe just as it likes. The body knows how to breathe. We can just notice what is the body doing right now as it breathes. Is there a particular place where you can feel the breath most clearly, either at the tip of the nose or inside the nostril, at the back of the throat or the belly? Wherever it may be, one can further bring the attention inwards and allow it to focus on that place, just noticing the breath, the body breathing in, the body breathing out. If there are thoughts or the mind gets distracted, it doesn't matter. But whenever one notices, one can gently bring the attention back to the breathing, breathing in and breathing out. One can start to examine the breath more deeply, trying to notice if one can follow the whole of the process of breathing. So breathing in and then that stopping, the gap between the in breath and the out breath, and then breathing out, and then again another gap till the body prepares to breathe in again, and then breathing in, and just noticing the quality, the texture, the slightly different feeling of each breath, breathing in and breathing out, to see if we can become aware of the whole of the breath, from the start of the in breath to the gap at the end of the out breath. So, as I ring the bell to end the meditation, just again listening to the sound of the bell, see how long you can follow the sound as it fades into silence. So thank you for your effort. I hope it was of some benefit, and I wish you the best.